Hello, friends. Imagine if you had a kind of magic that allowed you to completely focus on any task. How much would your life change? In today's world, attention, that is, focus, has become the greatest power. But the truth is, most people have forgotten what this even means. There are distractions everywhere: mobile phones, social media, notifications, and thousands of thoughts running through the mind. In such a situation, concentrating on one thing has become the most difficult job. And this is exactly what this book, The Art of Staying Focused, teaches us. How we can maintain our attention even in this noisy world and give our lives a new direction. The book begins with a very honest question. Are we truly working toward our goals, or are we just busy for the sake of being busy? Many times we work all day, but in the evening it feels like nothing was accomplished because our attention was divided. This is the lack of focus. The author explains that the mind always gravitates toward things that give us immediate pleasure, like checking our phone, scrolling videos, or chatting. But real success comes when we learn to center our minds on long-term goals. The author explains that focus isn't a talent, it's a training. Just as muscles get stronger with exercise, attention grows with practice. In the beginning, the mind will wander, but if you catch it every time and bring it back to your work, it will gradually come under your control. This is mindful focus. The book states that the mind is clearest every morning. Therefore, do your most important work at the start of the day. Leave other things for later, because if you waste your morning time, your focus will remain scattered throughout the day. Another important thing the book teaches is single tasking. That is, focusing on only one thing at a time. Today, people think multitasking is a great skill, but the truth is, multitasking exhausts the brain and doesn't allow for depth in any work. When you do only one task at a time, it not only gets done faster but also better. The author says the biggest enemy of focus is unknown fear. We're afraid of what people will say if we do something new, or what will happen if we fail. But real focus comes when you rise above fear and immerse yourself in the work. When you stop every thought and just stay fixed on your goal. The book makes an interesting point. To focus means to say no to other things. Meaning, until you learn to refuse some things, you won't be able to concentrate. Because every yes brings a new responsibility, and every responsibility eats up your time and attention. Therefore, say yes only to select things. Many people think focus is just a mental thing, but the author explains that it is also connected to the body and the environment. If your room is cluttered, your mind will also be cluttered. If you are tired, your attention won't stick. Therefore, to focus, first keep your surroundings calm and clean. The author explains that there are 3 levels of focus. First, external focus. That is, attention on the work you are doing. Second, internal focus. That is, understanding your thoughts and feelings. And third, focus on others. That is, listening attentively to the people around you. When all 3 levels are in balance, only then does a person become fully focused. One chapter in the book describes the flow state, that state where a person is completely immersed in a task, and the sense of time disappears. This is the state of true focus. To achieve this, it's necessary to do work that is neither too easy nor too difficult, because easy work leads to boredom and very difficult work leads to fear. Therefore, choose the middle path, which challenges you but doesn't scare you. The author has given a very simple tip, the Pomodoro technique. That is, work for 25 minutes without stopping, then take a 5-minute break. This way, your attention is maintained for a long time, and the mind doesn't get tired. If you can do 4 to 5 Pomodoro sessions in a day, your work will become much more effective than before. To maintain focus, the author advises not to look at your phone for the first hour of the morning, because as soon as you see notifications, your mind gets trapped in other people's priorities and you lose your own control. Keep the first hour of the morning for yourself. Meditate. Think about what you need to accomplish today and then move in that direction. Now let's talk about the reasons why focus breaks. The biggest reason is mental clutter, the useless things running through the mind. Every incomplete task, every unfinished conversation takes up space in our mind and breaks our focus. Therefore, it is important to either complete every small thing or let it go. The book also says that focus isn't just limited to work. It's also necessary in relationships. When you talk to someone, be completely in that moment. Because true attention is shown when you give a person your full time and the feeling of being heard. This attention enhances your depth and personality. When a person brings true focus into their life, their thinking begins to change. Small things don't bother them. They begin to go deeper into every task. The author says that focus doesn't just mean getting lost in a task, but steering your mind in the right direction. Many times, we also focus a lot on something negative, and then that very thing sucks our energy. Therefore, it is necessary to focus only on those things that make your life better. An example is given in the book. If you are driving a car and your eyes leave the road to look at a billboard, an accident can happen. Similarly in life, when our focus shifts from our goal, we stray from the path. Success comes only to those who keep their eyes on the prize. The author says you have to strengthen the focus muscle every day, and the method is very simple. Every day, for at least 10 minutes, sit quietly and just focus on your breath. If thoughts come during this time, just let them pass. This trains the mind and slowly focus increases. To increase focus, the book suggests another wonderful method: digital detox. Today, most of our attention is trapped in our phones. That's why the author says to set aside a few hours a day when the phone is completely off. During that time, you can either read, walk, or just think. It will be difficult at first, but in just a few days, you will see that the mind feels very light and stable. The author makes another interesting point. Our mind prioritizes what it sees repeatedly. If you keep your goals in front of your eyes every day, the mind itself will start to create ways to achieve them. Therefore, put pictures of your dreams in your room. Write down your goals and read them every morning. This small habit can increase your focus manifold. The book says that to maintain focus, it's not just a solo game. The right environment is also very important. Be with people who inspire you, who don't belittle your dreams, because people who are themselves scattered will also scatter your attention. Your environment determines your energy. Therefore, always keep positive and goal-oriented people around you. The author also says one more thing. Focus isn't just needed when things are easy. True focus is shown when circumstances are against you. When you are tired, when you don't feel like it, yet you remain steadfast in your work. This is real discipline, and this is the real key to success. Focus also means understanding yourself. When do you feel most energetic? What time is most productive for you? If you are a morning person, do the hard work in the morning. If you can think well at night, use the night time. Recognize your energy patterns and work accordingly. This understanding makes focus even stronger. The author wrote a beautiful line: a little focus every day, a change every week, a new height every month. This means consistency is the biggest secret. People think focus comes suddenly, but the truth is, it is built from daily practice. Slowly, your mind learns on its own what is important and what is not. The book states that the enemy of focus isn't just the mobile phone or social media, it's also overthinking. When we analyze everything more than necessary, our attention scatters. That's why the author says that thinking is good, but not in excess. Don't try to solve everything. Just take one step, because action is what strengthens focus. The author says that when you are moving toward a goal, you must create your no disturb zone. That is, a time when no thing or person can break your attention. Just like a writer closes his room door to write, or an athlete wakes up early to practice alone, you also have to define your focus zone. This is the place from which your great work will be completed. There is a beautiful message in one chapter of the book. Staying focused means living in the present. Because when you are completely in this moment, true focus comes. If you are always stuck in worrying about the future or regretting the past, you can never live in the present. Therefore, the author says, stay in the now moment, because success is always found in the now. Another deep point is made. Fatigue is the biggest enemy of focus. Therefore, take care of your body. Get good sleep. Eat healthy food and drink enough water. When the body is healthy, the mind is also stable, and it becomes easier to stay focused. The book mentions another special technique, which is called focusing on progress, not the goal. That is, every day just think, how can I become a little better than yesterday? If you get just 1% better every day, you become 37 times better in a year. This is the real power of focus. The author says that sometimes the best way to maintain focus is to motivate yourself. Remind yourself of your goal. Remind yourself of why you started. When you feel like quitting, think about the destination you set, the happiness that will come with success, and the peace you'll feel when you can say to yourself, "Yes, I did it." When a person makes focus their habit, they gradually begin to feel a different kind of power within themselves. Because now, they don't just think about everything, they do it with complete concentration. The author says that the real secret of focus is taking small steps every day. Because when you learn to pay attention to small tasks, big goals start to get accomplished on their own. The book states that the root of focus is clarity. Until you know clearly what you want, you cannot focus on anything. Many people say their focus breaks, but the real problem is that they don't even know what their goal is. Therefore, the first step is to see your goal clearly. Write it down and tell yourself that this is my direction. The author says that for focus, it is necessary that you set a purpose for each day. As soon as you wake up, write down 3 things you must accomplish today. And at the end of the day, see if you did them or not. This small habit gives your mind direction, and gradually your mind learns to live each day with a goal. The book states that to maintain focus, energy management is very important, because you can only focus when you have energy. If you are tired or your mind is heavy, your mind will wander. Therefore, plan your day in such a way that you do the most difficult tasks when you are most energetic, and easy tasks when you are feeling a bit lighter. The author says that focus is not just a game of the mind, it is also connected to the peace of the soul. When your mind is calm, attention naturally stays. Therefore, take some time out for yourself during the day. Sit in a quiet place. Take deep breaths and just for a few moments think of nothing. These moments will clear your mind and reset your focus power. The book mentions that to increase focus, you must identify the temptations that steal your attention. These things give immediate pleasure but not long-term satisfaction, like constantly checking the phone or talking aimlessly. The author says that every time you feel the urge to get distracted, ask yourself, is this thing taking me closer to my goal? If the answer is no, just stop. That pause is the beginning of focus. To strengthen focus, the book describes another beautiful method: gratitude. When you are grateful every day for the things you have, your mind becomes stable and you feel calm within. This very peace makes your attention permanent, because when there is no feeling of lack in the mind, there is no wandering. The author says that while walking on the path of focus, you must remember one more thing: perfection is the enemy. Many times people lose focus because they want to do everything perfectly. But focus doesn't mean being perfect. It means maintaining consistency. Because when you do something repeatedly, things get better on their own. There is a very inspiring thought in the book. The real meaning of focus is to keep your promise to yourself, no matter what the world says. When you make a promise to yourself that "I will do this work," the effort to keep that promise is what makes you strong. Because self-discipline is the power that gives birth to focus. The author says to check your focus every day by asking a simple question: where did I put my attention today? If the answer is positive, you are on the right path. But if you spent the whole day on others' words or useless things, then correct it tomorrow. This awareness gradually trains your mind. A beautiful comparison is given in the book. Focus is like the rays of the sun. When they are scattered, they just give light. But when those same rays pass through a lens and fall on a single point, they can start a fire. Similarly, when your attention is fixed on one point, you can make the impossible possible. The author says that if you really want to increase your focus, keep some no-think time in your day. That is, a time when you don't think about any subject. Just feel your surroundings. Because our mind gets tired from constantly thinking, and that's when focus breaks. Therefore, giving it rest is also necessary. Another important point the book makes is, learn to say no. Because when you say yes to everything, you scatter your energy. Focus means choosing limited things that truly matter to you. Therefore, before every yes, think, will this take me closer to my goal? If not, politely say no. This decision will make you stronger from within. The book also states that real focus comes when you love what you are doing. When the work doesn't feel like a burden but a joy, then focus is maintained automatically. Therefore, find purpose in your work. Make it meaningful. When the mind connects with that work, you won't even need focus. It will become natural. The author says that many times people think that focus means forgetting everything else. But actually, focus means balance. When you give time to every area of your life according to its priority, your mind remains calm and you can immerse yourself in one task. Because imbalance is what creates restlessness. When a person makes focus the style of their life, their whole personality begins to change. They are no longer entangled as before. Now, they see every task with a clear perspective. The book states that focus is not just staying on a task, but giving direction to your thoughts and feelings every moment. Because when you control your thoughts, only then can you shape your future. The author says that there are two types of people in life: one who reacts to every little thing, and the other who chooses their response thoughtfully. The first is a slave to external things, while the second is the master of their attention. A focused person is one who can keep themselves calm in any situation and make the right decisions from that stability. A brilliant part of the book explains that the real foundation of focus is awareness. When you are fully present while doing any task, you live deeply, whether it's drinking morning tea or talking to someone. If you learn to live every moment with full awareness, your attention gradually begins to increase on its own. The author says that staying focused is not a compulsion, it is an art. And this art only develops when you understand yourself, when you know when your mind wanders and why it wanders. catching yourself in that moment and giving it direction again. That is real focus. This doesn't come from any book or technique. It comes from self-awareness. The book suggests some very effective exercises to strengthen focus. First is the practice of silence. Keep some time in the day when you don't talk to anyone. Just connect with yourself. In this silence, you will be able to hear how many voices are within you, and which voice is truly yours. This recognition clarifies focus. The second practice is walking slowly. The author says that today everyone is running, but focus doesn't come from running. Walk slowly. Feel your steps. Look at the things around you. This simple thing brings deep peace within you, and this peace is the root of focus. The third practice is writing. Whenever your focus scatters, put it into words. Write down your thoughts. This lightens the mind and you can think clearly again. Many successful people start their day by writing in a journal because writing is the simplest way to give direction to focus. The book says that if you want to maintain long-term focus, you have to know your why. That is, why are you doing what you are doing? When your goal is not just external success but internal fulfillment, then focus never breaks, because then it is not connected to any compulsion but to meaning. The author says that focus isn't just for career or studies, it's equally important in relationships. When you talk to someone, be fully present, truly listen to them, because most people don't listen, they just wait to reply. But when you truly listen to someone, it builds affection and trust. This is called emotional focus. The book states that to maintain focus, rest is as important as work. If you constantly exhaust yourself, the mind will always be restless. Therefore, give yourself a chance to recharge every once in a while. Go into nature, listen to music, or just sit quietly, because peace and focus are two sides of the same coin. The author says that focus does not mean you become rigid. Rather, it means you remain gentle but firm in your direction, like a river flowing on its path. Even mountains cannot stop it because it doesn't stop, it maintains its flow. This is the most beautiful form of focus, continuous flow. There is an interesting idea in the book: make focus your value. That is, make it a part of your identity. When you tell yourself, "I am a focused person," your mind starts to work in that direction, and gradually your habits align with this identity. The author has stated that every focused person definitely has three qualities. First, discipline. Second, patience. And third, simplicity. Discipline gives you the strength to do the right thing every day. Patience saves you from the difficulties on the path. And simplicity keeps you calm from within. When these three things come together, focus becomes permanent. The book says that to save your focus, don't wait for the work. Rather, appreciate yourself for every small step. When you thank yourself for your progress, your mind stays happy, and that happiness maintains focus. In one place, the author writes that there is a deep relationship between focus and success, but even deeper is the relationship between focus and peace. Because when you are immersed in a task, time disappears, thoughts disappear, and what remains is just you and your work. This moment gives real satisfaction. The book also states that focus doesn't just mean reaching the destination, but enjoying that journey. Because the person who enjoys the path is the one who lasts until the destination. The one who is only interested in the destination gives up at the slightest difficulty. Therefore, the author says that the real meaning of focus is to love the journey. The author also explains that if you are troubled by distractions, don't be angry with yourself. See it as an opportunity. Every time your mind wanders, catch it and bring it back to your goal. This repetition will strengthen your focus. Focus is not something that comes all at once. It is the result of returning hundreds of times. A beautiful example is given in the book. A potter shapes the clay by patting it again and again. If he left it after just one try, the pot would never be made. In the same way, focus is built from the small practices of every day. You just have to keep returning. The author says that when you learn the art of focus, you also learn the art of life. Because then you can keep yourself calm in any situation. No matter if there is a storm outside, peace remains within. This inner stability is what makes you great. When a person makes focus not just a habit but an inner practice, sadhana, every moment of life begins to change. In the final part of the book, the author explains that focus is not just a tool to get success, but also a path to self-realization. Because when your attention is stable, your mind is calm. And when the mind is calm, only then can you recognize your true self. The author says that the highest level of focus is when you get so immersed in a task that there is no difference between the doer and the deed. This is the peak state of focus. This is what is also called yoga. When a person turns their work into worship, when their every action becomes a devotion, then they don't need focus, because then they become focus. The book states that true focus comes when you trust the process instead of worrying about the result. Because when a person always thinks about what will happen or what will people say, focus breaks. But when they just do their work with their whole heart, the results take care of themselves. The author says that focus is not an attempt to win, but the art of connecting completely. The author also explains that in today's times, maintaining focus has in itself become a meditation, because there is so much external noise that if you can spend even a few minutes every day in complete peace, that itself will refine your mental strength. Focus is born from silence, not from a screen, and that silence awakens the clarity within you. A very beautiful metaphor is given in the book. Our attention is like a lamp. If the wind is too strong, the flame flickers. But if you create a protective circle around it, the flame remains steady. That circle is your self-control, your discipline, and your awareness. If you have these three with you, your focus will never waver. The author says that the person who gains mastery over their attention also gains mastery over their destiny. Because life becomes what we pay attention to. If we repeatedly think of fear, fear will grow. If we repeatedly think of lack, lack will grow. But if we think of opportunity and solutions every day, that will become our reality. That's why the author says, where attention goes, creation flows. The book also states that to protect your focus, you have to befriend your distractions. That is, not to run away from them, but to understand them. Every time something breaks your focus, ask yourself, why is this thing attracting me? When you understand the reasons for your distractions, those things lose their power. This is the beginning of self-knowledge. The final secret of focus, as the author has explained in very simple words, that which is in this moment, that is true attention. Not the regret of yesterday, nor the worry of tomorrow. Just living fully in this moment, this is the essence of focus. This is the state from which real peace and joy are born. The author says that most people consider focus a difficult practice, but actually it is very natural. When a child is lost in play, they don't know what time it is. When an artist is painting, they don't feel hungry. This is natural focus. To be so immersed in something that everything else disappears. This is the most beautiful state of life. At the end of the book, the author says something wonderful. Focus does not mean making your world smaller, but making your mind vast. When you truly focus on one thing, all other complexities dissolve. and you begin to understand that the things that seemed big before are now insignificant. This perspective makes life light and meaningful. The author also says that when you learn to control your attention, you also begin to understand your emotions. Feelings like anger, jealousy, or despair cannot last then, because your mind now knows how to stay centered in one direction. This is the true sign of self-development. The final message of the book is very inspiring. The author says that if you become the master of your attention, you will become the creator of your destiny. Because the person who can control their thoughts can overcome any challenge in the world. Therefore, don't just consider focus a skill, make it your power. Focus is not something that is brought from the outside. It is already within you. You just have to recognize it. Be a little quiet every day. Listen to yourself a little. Go within yourself a little, and you will find that a steady light is burning inside you, giving direction to your every step. This is the essence of this book, that focus is the greatest power in life. Because when a person is truly centered, they go beyond limitations. They become what they think. Their dreams become their reality. So now the question is, are you ready to adopt focus in your life? Would you like to bring the scattered thoughts of your mind in one direction? Because this one step can change your entire life. And if you nurture your focus, little by little, every day, a day will come when you too will feel that peace, that success, and that self-confidence that comes only to the one who becomes the master of their focus. This is the true message of the art of staying focused. Remember, where there is attention, there is power. Where there is power, there is success. And where there is success, there is true happiness. Now think, if from today you start to put your full attention only on that one task which is closest to your heart, how much will your life change? Perhaps that will be your new beginning. Pay attention. This is the moment where your journey begins. And remember, focus is not a destination but the most beautiful way to live life. If this felt meaningful to you, just ask yourself one question from your heart. Am I ready, starting today, to turn my attention toward my dreams? This very question will light the fire within you, and from here will begin your true journey of success. If this audiobook touched your heart, then remember, real change begins on the day you decide that you will no longer be distracted. Now, you will just focus on your dreams. If you liked this video, please give it a heartfelt like. Share it with your friends so they too can find their focus back. And yes, definitely subscribe to the channel because, in the future, we are going to give your life a new direction with more such inspiring books and thoughts. Until then, remember, where there is attention, there is victory. Thank you.